You are listening to the Masculine Mindset Show, a podcast for men to develop a backbone, a masculine purpose, if you will, and get more physically attractive, and even become more mentally healthy. All you men listening, I turn nice introverts into fit, self-entitled savages, if you will. And you might even become a little cocky as a result of your G status. More importantly, you guys, I also show you how to flirt and date more women and seal the deal. Just look at the show notes. They are all on my blog articles. What's up, guys? Before we get into the content, do me a favor. Leave me a 5-star review with words behind it, okay? This helps me rank up in the search rankings. And one more thing, you guys. I just put my show on iHeartRadio, also Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music, even Castbox as well, you guys. So follow me on these platforms. Okay, I'll say that again. iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Castbox. All right, let's get into the content. Now that it's a day before Halloween, you guys, I think it's time that I really show you something that is going to kind of blow any skeptic's mind. So you guys understand something. I recorded this podcast about a month ago, and I was like, you know what? Now's a good time to really release this podcast, because quite frankly, you guys, I have some good ghost stories to tell you. And this, by the way, you guys, you're about to hear an EVP. All right, you're about to hear it. So strap down. It's going to be creepy, and just be prepared to be creeped out. All right, let's get into the content. How to tell high-value stories. How to tell high-value stories. Okay, guys, understand something. Before I even get to some of these stories that I'm about to tell you, all right, I want you to understand that you've got to think on certain situations that have happened in your life, all right? Do yourself the favor of just buying a fucking journal of some sort and start writing down stories in which you've went through certain situations where you are a fucking legend, basically, all right? Because I'm going to be real with all of you. You don't want to tell stories where you're in the jackass position and really it comes from a place of bragging or showing off. As I say, guys, all the time, I do say have a healthy ego, but there's a balance, okay? Just you can err on the side of too much cockiness, and then it just comes across as, oh, you're trying to be impressive, okay? So I want to tell you guys the story of really what happened was I investigated this haunted building, okay? And this is 110% truth. This happened last year in October. I guys, some of you skeptics out there who don't believe in spirits, whatever, that's on you. I don't fucking care what you think about there not being any ghosts out there. Oh, that's a load of crap, Adam. Well, guess what, guys? Then honestly, you're not going to really get much out of this story because you're not getting the point, okay? Understand, you guys, is that when you meditate a lot, you tend to pick up on energies more than ever, okay? You really do, okay? And the point to this, before I even get into the story, right, is I want you to understand, you guys, the more you meditate, the more you open yourself up to basically, potentially tapping into spiritual places, okay? And look, again, I don't give a fuck if you don't believe in ghosts, okay? I just don't. Now, here's what happened, you guys. My coworker and I'll leave her nameless. I don't really know if she wants me to put her name out there. But we investigated this place. And again, I'm not going to put this company out there on the podcast. But I'll just let you know, you guys, it was a very old building. It had history behind it. And I know for a fact that building has been there for about a fucking I want to say 70 years. And it's been operating for a long time. So here's the whole point to the story, right? My coworker and I, we rolled on digital recorder, okay? Obviously, we did this when we weren't on the clock, okay? I want to make that very clear. Now, what happened was we ended up catching some crazy fucking voices. This is true, okay? 110% truth. And by the way, you guys, if you want to hear some of these EVPs, email me at masculinity@coach.com. I will talk with my coworker and I will see if she can basically send me these recordings so that I can play you, because you guys, I have digital recordings of really creepy voices if you want to hear it. Okay, so what happened was this, you guys. At that time, I was seeing Emily, as you guys know, and look, what I want to say to all of you is that what happened was, after I finished basically investigating, I had to continue my night and go to another building, right, to basically do the usual janitorial type service. As I arrived to that next building, you guys, I'm not bullshitting you, this is 110% truth. This is truth, okay? After I clearly asked the spirits to not get personal and go with me anywhere, what do you know? This is true, you guys. Believe it if you don't want to believe it, I don't fucking care. When I pulled up my phone out of nowhere, I did not touch my fucking phone, you guys. I did not fucking touch my phone. I didn't fucking touch it. I did not go to the camera. I did not go to the photos. The last I checked, you guys, I had it on the lock screen. I pulled up my phone, and what do you know? There was a picture of me and Emily right there. Okay? And you guys, this is 110% true. 110% true. So those of you skeptics, whatever, I don't fucking give a fuck. Believe what you want to believe, but it is true. Okay? It did follow me. Whatever it was. Now, you guys, that right there is a high value story. Why is that? Well, I demonstrated that basically spirits will get personal with you, which, guys, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I know there are skeptics out there. Whatever, I don't fucking care. What I want you to understand is that there are weird energies in the world, okay? Energy is neither created nor is it destroyed. It just transfers over into a different form, okay? So those of you skeptics out there, let that set into the back of your mind, okay? Energy is neither created nor is it destroyed, okay? You can't really fucking argue that. Those of you fucking physics people out there, you know what I'm talking about if you've studied physics, okay? So, energy is neither created nor is it destroyed. So, as we all know, you guys, there are weird energies in the world. Okay, so that's story one of telling a high-value story. What did I do, you guys? I demonstrated that I basically have a girlfriend, right? And I told a story that involved paranormal shit, spiritual, airy-fairy shit. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, Adam, I don't have stories like that. Okay, well, you guys, guess what? I know that you've had experiences with women. Okay, you guys, I have an article called Attracting Women 101. What is pre-selection in dating? Okay? I'll put that article in the show notes for you to read. But now, here is the next high-value story. Okay? The next high-value story. All right, you guys, I want to do a quick shout-out to the UMP, the fucking legend, Mark. You know who you are. Now, guys, to be clear here, I want to remind you that I have worked with Mark. So those of you who are fucking... If you ever send hate to dating coaches, I want to fucking choke you out. Because clearly, I'm going to tell you something. If you send hate to someone who I personally worked with, this is a totally different side tangent. I'm going to fucking come unpeeled and basically get a little bit reactive, if you will, and fucking send you a letter of anthrax. Because you guys, Mark is my homie. And I don't want you to fucking hate on any of the people who I've worked with. Now, what I want to say to you about this, right, is years ago, it was about 5 years ago, this was like my biggest first win that I honestly omitted to tell Mark. Again, guys, I wish I told him, but it is what it is. I'm coming out with this story now, so now you know. Guys, I got a musician qualifying herself to me. A musician, you guys. A musician. So, if you go on my article called The Ultimate Guide to Higher Status Flirting, you will see a picture of me talking to Lauren Hart, who toured with the band Camelot. Now, there is a story behind that picture, and this is the story, you guys. All right? Here's what I did, you guys. I asked her a qualifying question, okay? I basically asked, how did you get so good at screaming, okay? And she told me an entire story about how she started when she was very young, and then she went into this story, right? She got really fucking into it. Because you guys, I want to tell you something, okay? In case you didn't know this, musicians are just human beings. You guys have this all idea that musicians are like fucking gods. They're not gods, you guys. They're not gods. Guess what? That is, again, you putting the halo on the fucking heads of women, right? You put that halo on their head, you attribute positive qualities to good-looking people, or even you attribute positive qualities to high-value people. Guys, Lauren Hart is just like any other woman, okay? I'll give you another example. I also met Christina Scabbia of Lacuna Coil. If you guys know by now, I have said this on my previous podcast. I think it was with, Kuhn from Dating Advice Daily, right? If you heard that one, it is called Effects of Body Positivity, right? So the point here is this, you guys. I asked Lauren Hart a qualifying question. Gosh, I'm all over the place. Whatever. Circle back to the topic at hand. I asked Lauren a qualifying question on how she developed this control over her voice where she can literally scream really fucking good. And I just asked her, how did you get so good at screaming? And she started explaining herself to me. Okay? So, you guys, the point here about this story here is what I want to really say to all of you is, if you want to tell a high value story, here's what you do. If you've ever met any musician, right? Tell that story. Because that is powerful. Not only is that powerful, you guys, this is a little secret hack in the human mind where if you tell a story about you meeting someone that you fucking really, basically, you look up to them. But by the way, you guys, I want to make this very clear, okay? I talked to Lauren like she was any other human being. I talked to her like she was any other human being, okay? That's a mistake that a lot of you guys make, though, if you don't want to become a woman's fan, okay? Don't be her fucking fan. Talk to her like you are just any other human being, right? Does that make sense? Okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense. Now, the point here is this, you guys. I want you to start being unaffected around someone who is really fucking big or even higher value in your eyes, okay? Because you guys, what I really want to say to all of you about this story is the fact that if you meet people that you highly respect and you see them as higher value than you, what you have to do is you have to, in a way, tell the story where you frame it in a way that you did not fucking care that you met her, right? But more importantly, you talked to her like you are just any other human being, and you don't fucking think of her as more higher status than you. Okay, does that make sense? I really hope that makes sense, you guys. More importantly, you guys, understand this, you guys. Circling back to the story at the topic at hand, understand, you guys, that if you can ask a qualifying question to a musician, female, singer, any of that, guys, I'm telling you right now, she will look at you differently. I'm telling you the facts. She will fucking look at you differently, and she'll realize, holy shit, this guy is asking me questions that pertain to myself. Okay? And when you ask those questions that pertain to yourself, all right? What you're doing is you're essentially getting them to explain themselves to you. Again, I got Lauren Hart qualifying herself to me. So Mark, if you're listening, shout out to you, man. that story, I don't think I ever fucking said to anyone out there, even though remotely, like, I know that I have people who are listening from the Brotherhood in his Facebook community, but I also have, like, fucking people who are in the West Watson community. So what I want to really tell you guys is the fact that if you want to tell more high-value stories, what you have to do is you have to, in a way, just talk to people like they are normal human beings. And don't give this false idea in your head that they're just this fucking god that you think that they are. Because they're not a fucking... Guys, that is a mistake. Again, the halo effect in action. Stop putting the halo on other women's head that you think are higher value than you. Okay? I hope that makes sense to you guys. But how to tell high value stories. I want to tell you guys, you have the setup, you have the build up, and you have the outcome. The setup here, okay? I went to see Camelot, right? So I went to see the band Camelot with my buddy. His name is Paul. Shout out to Paul. Now, Lauren Hart was with Camelot, right? And really, the build-up is this, you guys. I asked her a qualifying question. And I said that to her nonchalantly, like completely unaffected. And then she got herself qualifying to me, right? Makes sense? Okay. I'm glad that makes sense. Now, there's the outcome. You guys, what is the outcome of this story? Musicians are just human beings. Okay? Musicians are just human beings. Guys, if you ever go to a concert, that's cool. I'm proud of you. But if you meet them in person, don't get all fucking fanboyish, because that's you supplicating. All right. That is it for me in this podcast. I want you to tell high-value stories, but you guys, remember, you guys, that right there is a way to tell a story with basically you. All right, so I gave you an example of demonstrating pre-selection in the first story. In the second story, you guys, I gave you an example of basically you being higher status, okay? Guys, you want to show that you're higher status? This is how you do it, right here. You basically show that you're in the in-group. You know, guys, I demonstrated with Lauren in that particular instance. I demonstrated with her that I'm not like any other fucking fan. In fact, I'm not going to actually behave like a fan. I'm going to ask you a qualifying question because I'm curious about you. I am curious how you got so good at screaming. So, that's it, you guys. That's fucking it. Just ask qualifying questions to musicians, and that will fucking be the best thing you'll ever do. Now, guys, I appreciate you for listening to this podcast. Again, I want to really shout out Mark here because I fucking love that guy. And if you heard this episode, I appreciate you for listening. Now, guys, leave me a 5-star review with words behind it. Again, tell stories where you are being seen as high status. Tell stories where you are demonstrating pre-selection. That is how you tell high value stories.
I greatly appreciate you tuning in to the Masculine Mindset Show. Now, please do me a favor, leave me a 5-star review with words behind it. And guys, I'm totally about to throw you in for a curveball because I found the EVP that I'm going to share with you, okay? And more importantly, you guys, I want to mention to please look at my website and read my dating and attraction articles, okay? But let's listen to this EVP because it is extremely disturbing.